Hello, everyone. Raymond Moore, Kilted Prepper. How's everybody doing this morning? You're watching Coffee with Ray. So, I'm a half hour late today, and I got a chick flick to blame on that one. Last night, actually, today is Sarah, our daughter, is off from school. So what we did as a family is we sat and we watched movies. Now, one of the movies that we did watch was Star Trek, The Voyage Home. That's the one with the whales and everything like that. That's something that, Cynthia and our daughter wanted to watch and everything. So we watched that. But there is a really cool, just fun comedy movie, and it's called Puppy Love. And hey Chantel, how you doing? Thank you for showing up. Um, but the movie's called Puppy Love, folks. It's on Amazon. It's on freebie, so you can watch it for free and everything. Hey Paladin, how you doing, bud? But the movie was super cute. But we didn't end up going to bed till about 1 a.m. in the morning, so I kind of overslept. It's all because of a chick flick. But check it out. It's called Puppy Love. Great movie. If you just need, some escape and just have a good feel good movie and everything, I want you to check it out. But today, what I am talking about is government says food prices will go up. And yeah, so it's coming right out of their mouths, actually. And so let's jump over to this here real quick. Let me show you what's going on. And it says Daily Wire has reported, and I checked out these reports as well, the USDA. Food prices set to increase above historical average, government analysis says. So, um, let's see here. Americans are expected to spend more on food through the rest of 2023 and into 2024. According to a recent analysis from the U.S. Department of Agriculture Economic Research, food prices will remain elevated for the remainder of this year. Now, here's the interesting thing is right here. Let's check it out. Um, Food prices are expected to grow more slowly in 2023 than in 2022, but still above historical average rates. In 2023, all foods were predicted to raise 5.9%, with the prediction interval between 5.3 to 6.5%. Now, folks, you and I both know that I personally, when the government comes out and brings out numbers and everything, I just don't believe the numbers anymore, because this current administration has shown itself to really fudge the numbers and not make them look as drastic as they truly are. Now they're saying, oh, food prices have only gone up 5 point something percent or 6 point something percent. Bull hockey. I mean, I don't know about you, but I am seeing prices that have been double or even triple. I mean, I was amazed. We, excuse me, um, Sarah had, our daughter had $10 to spend. And so she wanted to go out and buy candy and chips. And so we don't let her buy that stuff very much. We don't let her eat that stuff very much. But she wanted to go out and do that. And it is amazing how much $10 will buy, which is very little. And so she bought a couple bags of one of these circus peanuts and some jelly beans, but she wanted a bag of Cheetos. And we went to the chip aisle, and a bag of Cheetos, folks, $5 and what, 49 cents or 59 cents. My goodness, I remember when a bag of Cheetos was like a buck 50. So she was rather amazed at how much it was costing her and everything. In fact, she actually went over her $10 limit, and just buying 3 items, some circus peanuts, some jelly beans, and a bag of Cheetos cost $13. So she had to dip into her kitty to, add to that, because she really wanted that bag of Cheetos. But needless to say, folks, I know that food prices are a lot higher And again, this, some areas and some products and all this yada 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 stuff, situations dictate and everything. But overall, Americans are now spending over $700 more just living and paying the minimums and everything with electric bills, gas bills, water bills, all those other things, and then still put food on the table. So the government saying that, oh, food has only gone up 5 point something percent is a bunch of crap. And so, what is it that we can do to, do or handle this? The big thing is I've been doing a number of research, and you know, there are going to be some serious shortages this fall and this winter. And so I'm highly recommending that you really take advantage of what's right now kind of the harvest season and truly stock up. Um, just to name a short few. And folks, what I am doing is I'm actually putting together an article. I'm going to be listing all these foods, and you really need to jump on these things now, because come November, December, January, you might be not seeing these things on the shelves, or if you do, then the cost of these things are going to be outrageous. But a number of things that I have been seeing here is, for one, I have been looking at and trying to find kosher salt. I mean, kosher salt has been almost impossible to find. And again, I don't know why kosher salt is one of those things that are basically disappearing off the shelf. But other things, potatoes, big time potato, I wouldn't say famine, but the potatoes are showing up really harsh because it's not there. And so what we need to do is stock up on some potatoes. I don't know if you're a potato person or anything like that, as well as sweet potatoes. And the reason is there's been major drought in the potato growing areas. So potatoes, sweet potatoes, onions are another thing that I've been noticing that have been coming up short and things. I know that in our Kroger's, the onions have just been, bleh, nothing there and everything. Uh, Wheat products. Now, this is a biggie, folks, because a lot of us leverage wheat products. Wheat products being bread, pasta, and so forth. But those two things are going to really be. But flour is going to be going up in price. And again, this is because of the dismal wheat harvest that we've had this year, and expect flour to really go up around November, December. And so what you really want to do is jump on it and get some flour now. Easy way to store it is just stick it in your freezer, and it'll stay for, a year or a year and a half. So, but if you don't have, and this is something I'm gonna highly recommend, need to invest in some tangible assets. Tangible assets being, get a wheat grinder, folks. I mean, the price of a 50-pound bag of wheat, the last time I checked, is now going for about $45 for 50 pounds. And where prior, the cost of wheat, the last time I purchased it, was sitting around 29. So wheat berries have gone up in price. Flour is going to go up in price. The last time I was at Kroger's about a week and a half ago, the flour aisle was just decimated. And I mean, there's just a bag of this here or a bag of that there. So flour, sugar also is coming up short. And then, but again, pasta, pasta is coming up short. I checked out the Kroger area too. Now they had pasta there, but they didn't have the selection that I saw prior and or as normal. But we're starting to see pasta shortages too. So anything dealing with wheat, start stocking these things up. But again, I highly recommend that you guys get a wheat grinder. The wheat grinder that we have is called the Nutrimill Stone Grind. It's about 300 and something dollars. It's a kind of a hefty investment, but this will really help you guys in the long term. Look at it as a long-term investment. I really encourage you guys to get one of those. And then, but get that. And then wheat is easy to store. We stick it in 5-gallon buckets, and then I stick some oxygen absorbers in it. And basically, wheat will stay indefinitely. So, really stock up on these things. So, for example, onions and potatoes. getting these. If you can find a 50-pound bag somewhere, maybe find one of these food distributors or restaurant food distributors or something like that. They're out there, and a lot of them do sell to the public. So look into maybe getting a 50-pound bag of onions, get a 50-pound bag of potatoes, depending on how much of these things you eat. And then right now, temperatures are starting to drop a little bit. So get some bins and everything and store them out in your garage. Another added thing that you could do is getting some of these like cedar or sawdust or something and throw that into the bins as well. And it'll help really extend the time period of how long those products will last. But I'm again seeing a lot of things that are coming up short. Oats, again, any of the cereal products that has taken place. Again, wheat, rice, oats. I mean, soy. I don't know if any of you guys, do soy or anything like that, but our wheat or cereal harvests have been really hit hard this year, primarily due to the heavy weather or the rains. A lot of the grain growing areas have been experiencing flooding, and that basically destroys the crops as well. So a lot of these cereal products, and I call cereal the grains, um, are coming up short. And then other things that are going to be start disappearing off the shelf is canned meats. And the reason is because what we're eating right now canned is what came from last year. And last year's beef has been decimated. I mean, the beef herds or the beef cattles or the cattle herds are down to what 1962 numbers. So it's going to take a long time to bring these herds back up to speed and being able to produce. Our again, chicken is showing up. Walmart, yeah, I've been getting reports from a number of folks that certain Walmarts, or at least in their areas, I haven't seen it yet, but in certain areas, there is a limit on how many cans of chicken you can purchase. So we're already starting to see, limitations. We're starting to see shortages. We're starting to see controls and everything being put on a lot of the meat products. Spam. Oh my goodness, you talk about the cost of food going up. Spam. I remember when spam was something like $2 a can. It's now sitting at $5, $6 a can. And in fact, in some parts of the US, what they're doing is actually locking them in these plastic anti-thief or theft containers so that people can't, steal the spam. But really, really look at your protein. Protein is critical. So by getting canned ham or canned beef or canned tuna or canned chicken or canned salmon, start looking at your proteins and really, really start stocking up on these things because, again, the livestock industry has been hit hard. We've seen this past year a number of chicken farms or chicken production, facilities being decimated or fired or destroyed or whatever. Even some of these facilities have even been shut down and are being moved. So again, protein is critical. Other things that are going to be start hard to find are beans and legumes. Start stocking up on these things now as well, because again, these harvests have been lacking, and because last year's production was so bad that what we're eating now in some of these products are from last year. And because of the harvests were so bad, then there isn't as much on the table anymore. Supply chain issues are also having a huge impact on food. There's a lot of the fruits and canned fruits, canned vegetables. Not only is it the shortage of tin, but also because of the supply chains. Right now, if you guys been paying attention, the Amazon Canal is totally messed up because they just have not been getting enough water down there in Central America. And so the lake that feeds the canal and the locks, the water just isn't there. So what's on average, they're only letting about 150 ships a day through the Amazon Canal because what they've got to do is pump the water in, pump the water out. and so forth. And so they're really doing some water control measures down there, and this is slowing the ships from going through the Amazon really, really slow. So we're seeing shortages with fruits, and we're seeing shortages with canned fruits and canned vegetables. Because again, instead of going around the horn, the Panama Canal is turned into a massive bottleneck. So I again, what I would highly recommend is really start looking at these. I'm going to be putting an article out today, and I've got probably about 20 items that you guys need to stock up on now. And it's just, it's just good wisdom to do this, because right now we are in that harvest season. So food at the moment is somewhat plentiful, and people aren't really noticing it. And the goal of us as preppers is, again, staying ahead of the curve. And by taking advantage of what's on the shelves now, stocking up on things now, the masses are going to start going crazy probably around November, December, when things are really going to start coming up short, or people are going to be basically priced out of the arena. And again, the USDA is saying 5 point something to 6 point something in price increases. And I think that's total horse hockey, because again, you and I don't know where these USDA folks shop, because I mean, these numbers that they keep putting out is just freaking ridiculous, and it's unrealistic. And so I would really behoove you guys to start stocking up, getting some of these things. Again, look for that article. And what you can do is go to raymondmoore.com, MHOR.com, or thekilterprepper.com. And both of them take you to the same website and everything like that. But look for that article. I'm making a number of suggestions. I'm listing probably about 20 different food items that are going to be very difficult to find this fall, and especially this winter. And I'm not just saying December, but also into 2024. So it's going to be tough, folks. And if you've been a reader of mine or been watching my videos or anything, I've been calling this out now for the past year. And the reason is because what, of course, inflation and everything that's going on, but also a lot of the fertilizer issues, a lot of the seed issues and everything has become so so costly that ranchers and farmers basically can't plant, because they just don't have the money to buy stuff. And it's interesting. I was writing the numbers, and this is a little formula I did in the article as well. 100 acres will feed 31 cows or 31 heifers with calves that are 4 months and younger old. And so you think 100 acres, wow, man, it's a lot of food and everything that these ranchers plant. Because a lot of ranchers, what they'll do is they'll plant the corn and then allow the herd just basically come in and eat on it and everything like that. Or they'll harvest up the corn and save it for the winter time and winter feed and stuff. But 100 acres isn't very much. It only feeds 31 cows and babies. So it's really, it's going to get tough out there. Now, the thing is I was talking to a local rancher, probably about a month ago, and he has seen cost to grow the corn that the cows are going to eat. The cost of a 50-pound bag of seed corn is around $3,000 a bag now. It used to be something like $1,000, he was telling me, but one bag will only do what, 1 acre? Yeah, 1 acre. So, if you multiply that cost over, let's say, 100 acres and everything, you start seeing that seed costs are going through the roof. And then his fertilizer cost has tripled and quadrupled, where he was normally paying about $35,000 for fertilizer and everything. He was now paying over $100,000 for fertilizer. This is fertilizer to fertilize the corn crops that we're going to feed his livestock, which is what he's going to then sell. And the problem is, what's happening is the cost of the input is becoming so expensive that a lot of these ranchers and farmers can't afford to produce as much as they may want. And let's just, again, using a simple 100-acre plot or something like that, the farmers are now only maybe farming, say, 70 acres versus 100 acres, because they just can't afford the inputs. The inputs being, diesel, fertilizer, seeds, so forth and so on, to produce these crops and stuff. And so what happens is that even though they spend the money and on these inputs to feed the cattle, when they take these cattle to market, the prices just aren't there. And so it's not cost prohibitive for them to even raise the cattle or something. So a lot of these cattle ranchers and a lot of these farmers have been cutting back because it just isn't affordable to grow or raise, the food. And so because they're not getting the prices at the markets anymore. And then you couple into that a lot of the BRICS issues. China has just canceled, what, 2, 3 weeks ago, they canceled a big, huge corn contract. China has canceled several other food contracts. I know Brazil has canceled some cattle contracts and so forth. And so BRICS nations are pulling away from doing business with the US and instead starting to do business with each other. And now that they've added the other nations to the BRICS alliance, they're going to be doing more business with these countries as well instead of doing business with us. We are slowly being pushed out of the trade table. And so they're not wanting to do business with us much anymore. And again, our administration and then China and everything are constantly putting more tariffs on everything. We're starting to see an economic war take place. And so it's getting pretty ugly out there. So make sure you go to my website, probably around 12 noon Eastern. I will have that article up for you guys, but check that article out. I'm naming all these things that you need to get hands on now while the getting's good. Otherwise, I think things are going to get really ugly this winter. I mean, with the problems that so many families are having already in just keeping food on the table, as things disappear even more, it's going to start getting crazier. And, a man will do anything to feed his family. So expect crime to go up as well and everything. So, didn't mean to bring a bunch of bad news or anything, but I'm trying to keep you guys informed here on Coffee with Ray. And just really, start planning ahead, start buying, some of these items and everything, and start stocking up so that you have them on hand and basically kind of coast through this coming storm. The more that we're able to do, the more that we're able to stay ahead of the curve, the better. And that's what we do as preppers. We see and look out on the horizon and we adjust and overcome accordingly. We do not want to go into reactionary mode. Reactionary mode is basically a mode of fear, and fear kills. Fear is the mind killer. It will actually stop you in your tracks. So the more that we stay informed, the better that we are. So got a lot of comments here. So, hey, Paladin. Hey, Holly. Barter with salt. Yeah. And again, I am amazed. Even when I was out in California last week, I could not find kosher salt to save my life. And I went to a number of grocery stores looking for it too, just to see. Nothing. Purpose should look at a barter item. Ukraine's #1 grain producer. Yeah, totally agree. People don't know that Ukraine is a #1 grain producer. In fact, Russia and Ukraine combined in that area supply a good 1/3 of the world, if not more, of the grain. And if the world can't get the grain, where are they going to get it from? And so start looking at these countries buying the grain and stuff from us, because we do have some reserves and everything, which will then cause the prices to go up even higher. Because do you think that the food manufacturers who are sitting on this grain, they're going to take top dollar? And so if countries come over with a big fat wallet, guess who's going to get the grain? And guess who's going to lose out? So now is the time to truly jump on this and really, plan this out so that we can survive through this winter. It's going to get really, really ugly. So, but that's everything I can think of. Do me a favor, folks, if you're new to this channel, like, subscribe, share, and then ring that little bell so you get notified whenever I go live or whenever I post a new video. I'm looking at doing a class, not this weekend, but next weekend. So keep an eye out for that. I'll be putting out a Zoom link and everything so that you guys can sign up for that and everything. But basically teaching folks on alternative forms of income, start creating cash flow streams now. You don't want to be creating cash flow streams during SHTF because you're going to be going around crazy anyways. So it's better to establish these things now so that you have some cash flow streams coming in. But that's what I'm going to be sharing with you guys next weekend in a Zoom call. Now, if you're going to be joining me on this class, make sure that you have a camera, make sure that you have, some pen and paper, make sure you have a microphone because we're going to be doing a lot of talking to each other and I want to see what you guys look like. So that's everything, folks. Raymond Moore, Kilted Prepper, Coffee with Ray. We'll see you. Goodbye. God bless and kilt on.